everybody, and welcome to another edition of Get Sweaty. As usual, I am your friendly neighborhood soda, joined once again by Ben Rayner and Sol Govan. How are you guys doing this lovely, lovely Saturday morning?
Doing good. Got my second shot today. So in 2 weeks, I will be fully vaccinated. I also, in looking at stuff for this list, I completely forgot about two songs that had lyrics. So I just want to shout them out here. Cuatro Estaciones de La Habana and Narcos. Those theme songs are pretty good.
Okay. And so, buried the lead a little bit there. It's another TV theme song edition of Get Sweaty, but this one is different. We've had top 5 theme songs with lyrics. We've had top 5 anime theme songs with lyrics. Now we're just doing top 5 non-lyrical theme songs, and this covers everything: animated, live action, anime, you name it, it will probably be on the list. Then this is the last of our TV theme song series because I don't think we can go anywhere from here.
Right.
No.
Unless we decide to do outro theme songs or something, but that's going to be really hard because not all of those are memorable.
Right.
So I'm going to, normally it would be 50 Shades of Geek's turn to start off this list because it would be his turn, but fortunately he's not able to join us this week, so I will be starting off the list. At number 5, mine is probably one of the most recognizable sitcoms of all time. It is probably one of the oldest, and it is the one that founded a lot of the tropes that we see nowadays. It is I Love Lucy, which has lyrics to it, but the lyrical version was never used on the show. I think Ricky might have sung it during an episode, but it was never used as the opening credit, so I could get away with that. Yeah.
Lucy, I'm home.
Yeah. I love Lucy and she loves me. We're as happy as two can be. Sometimes we quarrel, but then, oh, how we love making up again. No one kisses like Lucy. Lucy kisses like no one can. I'm her missus and she's my man. She's my missus and I'm her man. Life is heaven, you see, because I love Lucy. Yes, I love Lucy. Yes, I love Lucy, and Lucy loves me. He actually did lyrics for it, but yeah, it's number 5 on my list because it is one. As soon as you put the theme song, I guarantee you everybody will know what it is.
And one of the first times you see a Latino in a sitcom with Desi Arnaz.
Yes. And that's something that I don't think gets talked about nowadays, is just how influential in the 1950s a Latino person was in television.
Yeah. My fellow Cuban there, too.
Exactly. Arguably one of the most influential people in television history.
Yeah.
Him, we have the reruns.
Sorry?
Him, we have reruns on TV.
Yeah, exactly. Because of him, we have reruns. Yeah. The dude definitely was a visionary. An interesting character, but definitely a visionary. Okay, Sol, what is your number 5?
So my number 5, I'm pretty sure it's a punt. It's X-Men the Animated Series.
Not on my list or honorable mentions.
Really? I'm super surprised. Okay. Because what a great show that it was. I'm so glad that it's on Disney Plus. When Disney Plus came to all of us and they're like, here, have X-Men the Animated Series. And I'm like, yes, thank you. And then later when HBO Max was like, here, have Batman the Animated Series. I'm like, yes, thank you. Thank you. I will take both. Thank you.
I have to admit, I am of the X-Men age, but unfortunately that one never really stuck with me compared to Batman or anything like that. So I don't have the same affinity for it as everybody does in my age bracket.
Me too. Same here.
Yeah. The theme song though is banger. Like I will admit that it's such a killer riff, and that's another one where you play it and people will know.
Yep.
All right, Ben.
Okay. I want to be clear. This is about the show, not about the guy behind the show. I've never seen an episode of the show, but I know the theme song really well. It's perfect, the Vampire Slayer theme song.
Okay. Not familiar enough with the theme song because that's another one I've heard in 2 episodes.
It's catchy, it's mysterious, it's spooky. It encapsulates everything about the show. And I never seen an episode, but I always plan to. So, and
I've
now the
only seen
whole
a
Josh
small
Whedon-
part of one. I saw a small part of one because Pedro Pascal is in an episode,
Oh,
but he
Alright.
dies. Spoiler.
spoilers for like a 20-year-old show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen like a couple episodes, just here and there, but yeah, it's not one that's ever stuck out to me.
And how about this? Maybe we should do it for recapping. But
Maybe.
yeah, I just like the theme song a lot. That's my number 5.
Okay, my number 4, I guarantee you is not on any of your lists. It's Beverly Hills 90210.
But
Fuck off. Okay then. Okay, so what is your number 4?
Okay. My number 4, I believe it aired on Stars. I'm not 100% sure on that. Either Stars or Showtime. And it's Da Vinci's Demons.
Oh, okay.
And basically, you got a young Leonardo da Vinci. You got the Medicis there. It's Florence. It's basically that older time Italy. The theme song is Strings. It's a pretty cool theme song. It was a cool show, at least for like the first season. I really, really enjoyed the first season. Then it kind of went a little out there. But like it was still enjoyable and entertaining, but the first season is definitely like I recommend to watch.
Now I know what the show's about. I saw the title and I never bothered to look into it. Now at least I know that's actually about Da Vinci.
Yeah, no, it's a young Leonardo da Vinci.
Nice. Who plays Leonardo da Vinci? Is that somebody that we would know?
Ooh, let me look up on IMDb. Oh nope, I got the Da Vinci. Wrong one. I will look it up as Ben does his number
Yes.
4.
Yes, you're number 4, dude.
my number 4 is my only animated show on my list. It is Rugrats.
Oh yeah. Which is funny because they just dropped the trailer for the new revive.
I didn't
I
even
love it.
think about Rugrats. Now I'm just adding that to my honorable mentions now because I
I
forgot
love
about
this
it.
song. It's fun, it's whimsical, and again, the theme song encapsulates the whole playful tone of it. The characters are great, and I can't wait for this reboot.
Yeah,
It's gonna
it's a
be so fun.
great theme song, very simple. I remember when I was growing up, percussion students, in order to prove that they could play the xylophones, would play the Rugrats theme song on the xylophone. Growing up,
So the person who played Leonardo da Vinci his name is Tom Riley. I don't know.
Tom Riley. It's not ringing a bell.
Nope. He looks to be a TV actor. And looking at his IMDb.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Now I have the Rugrats theme in my head. I'm just going. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
it's one of those too simple but so catchy theme songs. Yeah, okay. So, should we wait for 50 to come in or just keep going?
Let's just keep going because we're already live, baby.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so my number 3, if 50 was here, I think it might be a punt. It is the theme song to Doctor Who.
Okay.
So
Only seen of the new era. I've only seen a first like 3 maybe episodes of the new era.
I highly recommend going and watching the Matt Smith era because I think that is probably the more accessible one, maybe. I don't know, might be just me on that one. But yeah, this theme song actually was way ahead of its time because the original composition was done in 1963, which was way before synthesizers became available in the market. This was one of the first. Actually, I think this was the first TV theme song to use synthesizers in its composition and to use a technique called music concrete, which is essentially where you take real world sounds and you make music out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was way ahead of its time. Nobody had ever heard anything like it. And it is another one because of how big the show got. It's another one I'm pretty sure if you start playing, people are like, I think I know this one. Yeah, it's a great song on its own, very catchy, and it's one of those you play it, Whovians all over the world, their ears will perk right up.
Here's a question for you. Has it been the same theme?
Yeah, it's never
Since
changed.
non-classic?
They've like updated it and stuff like that, but it's been the same composition the whole time.
Nice.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
changed it. Yeah, like I
Been
said,
on the air for a very long time, so to continuously use the same theme song, because you know, like a lot of times theme songs get updated. So good on them.
Like I said, like they did update it a little bit, but just mostly kind of like to modernize it to the times. But yeah, like I said, it's still recognizable as the Doctor Who theme song.
It's like when you get a remastered song of like any of like Prince's songs or Michael Jackson songs or the Eagles, they remaster it, so it's the same song, it's just better audio quality.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like when Andreyko, he used to enter to the Friday the 13th disco version of the theme song, like kind of like that. So yeah, that's my number 3. What about you, Sol? What is your number 3?
So this one was on Stars, and it's called Black Sails, and it's basically pirates. I'm a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan. I really like pirate like movies and show, and this really depicts pirates in like the way they actually were, and not kind of like the we're pirates kind of way. And it's called Black Sails, and it is a banger of a song. And pretty much like it's if you took strings and then like took the feel of like when you're listening to like rock and just kind of like mash that together. Nice. That's what this song is. And it's just like like, and you're just rocking out to it. It's super good. Like I never skipped it because like sometimes, you know, like even the theme songs you love, you're like, okay, let's skip and start the episode. Never skip that theme song.
Very nice. Black Sails, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, another show. I've heard of it, never seen it. But honestly, when you say that, like it's strings and rock, I mean that makes sense because pirates are practically like rock stars,
right?
Just as dirty too. Okay, then. So, Ben, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is a pet from earlier. Beverly Hills 90210.
Gotcha. So the soft punt, yes. All right, Ben. What are your thoughts on the theme song?
I like the song. I never like the show. I've been playing got you off guard that day. Granted, because I've been talking about this with you this week. Okay. This is a catchy theme song that always recognizable. Excuse me. Please, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I'm the same with you. It's a great theme song, easily recognizable, and this is another one that has stayed with every iteration of the show. It transitioned to a remix version for the 90210 sequel series, and then they brought it back, I believe, for that weird meta show they did for 1 year that I'm glad doesn't exist anymore. I've never seen it, but I just hearing about it, I was like, why? It was one of those why moments. But yeah, no, you're right. And also I think they also did several different versions of it throughout the run, but it is it's I would argue that I would say that this is a guilty pleasure show for me. So every time I hear this theme song, I kind of, again, the ears perk up just a little bit. You familiar with it?
I've never seen a single episode. I've heard of it, obviously, because like it's just been in the zeitgeist, but I've never seen a single episode.
It set the template for a lot of the CW teen shows that we watched. Like it was the original teen drama.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the original modern teen drama would be the best way to put it.
It ain't really that modern, though.
It's been
modern-ish.
Modern. Well, but I mean, like, because TV's been around for so long, like there have been shows in the past, but the formula that we see nowadays, Beverly Hills 90210 was the first one to use that. That's what I meant by it was the first of the modern era.
And might I say it's the best? I mean, is there anything better?
There probably is.
I haven't seen it, so I can't really judge. But I just know that it never interested me to ever watch it.
Very much a 90s show. Like, it's very, very of its time, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could say some of the characters aren't exactly relatable because not all of us are multimillionaires, but it's a fun show that has its moments. Yeah, I've been on the fence about doing a rewatch.
You should. It's fun.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess that's my number 2 then.
Yeah.
So my number 2 potentially will be a soft punt, but it is Game of Thrones.
That's also my number 2.
Perfect. And not on your list, Ben? Wow, what are the odds? What can I say? This is probably the most iconic theme song of the last 25 years. Would you say?
Yep.
Like
It even got a South Park rendition of it. We know.
That's right. Yes, that is right. Yeah. No, this song is so good, and this is just the tip of all the beautiful music that comes out of this show. And joining us is none other than 50 Shades of Geek. How are you doing, my boy?
Well, that's not embarrassing at all, is it?
Sorry, man. It's the worst words that came out of my mouth.
I'm sorry. That's on me. New jobs, right? They're all fun. New jobs, working at late hours, different time zones with different people and different sides of the planet. Yeah, I just woke up. Sorry.
We've gotten to our number 2, which is all the same. So, like, after Ben and mine's thought, you can quickly run your 5 through number 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. What time is it for you over there?
Oh, it's just 7:30, but I just, woke up at 4. And
oh, yeah.
I thought I was going to take a nap and quickly join the show, and, well, here we are.
Dude, I totally understand. When I crash hard. So I get it. Yeah, we're talking about my number 2, which is oh yeah. My couch is my nap place too. I'm with you 100% on that. But no, we're talking about my number 2, which is Game of Thrones. Is that on your list?
No.
Okay, so yeah, no, Game of Thrones, like I said, when you hear it is just the tip of all the great music that comes out of this show. Like, it sets the tone perfectly. You know exactly what you're getting. Thoughts? Anybody else on Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I know. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
It's iconic. I love it, and it puts you up every time you play it. I don't get why people skip it. Sometimes while you're watching it, and it's a shame this isn't a habit because I think a lot of people won't go back and watch the show again.
Oh, it's a freaking loss.
Yeah, I can't wait until like the new like prequel show comes out because I know that they're gonna have just as good as an opening song. Mm-hmm. I know like Soda and I are both band kids, so like from just the band kid perspective, just like how great the song is, and like as a band kid, you're just like, I just want to play this. I want to.
Oh yeah. And
that's when you know a theme song, especially an instrumental theme song, is really good. Is when you have a band kid going like to their directors like, can we play this? I want to play this.
I have played this. I got lucky enough to play this in a concert, and when they got to the winds of Castlemere, oh my God, it's a beautiful composition of that song. Ramin Djawadi can do no wrong in my book when it comes to composing. Okay, so 50. Time for you to get.
I was in my PC yet.
Yes, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of Game of Thrones. I tried to watch the show. I got through the first 7 episodes and just decided it wasn't for me. That being said, the theme song is epic. That's how good the theme song is of the show, of the intro. You know, a theme song is so good when even someone who doesn't necessarily like the show loves the theme song. especially since I may or may not have used it in a video to celebrate the breakup, or rather the end of a certain Schmodown team that may or may not have been named after stuff from the show. Featuring, I don't know how more vague I can be.
Very nice. And I can confirm Raman Djawadi is coming back for House of the Dragon to
Yeah.
do the theme. Yeah, the music.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the new pictures?
Yeah.
Great.
Matt Smith
great.
looks great as a Targaryen. I cannot wait. Oh, Raman Djawadi also composed Iron Man. What do you know?
Yeah.
There you go.
Dude, I literally just found that out today and forgot because I'm studying for a match, and yeah. I guess I should retain more knowledge better this way. But that's I'm still a little crane for waking up. Anyways, since I have to
time to catch up.
get through my number 5 and number 4, let's try to make this quick. It's my number. So actually, this is actually very good because it's sort of a way to lump both of these into the same category. Because the way I see it, if you're going to have an intro song to a TV show without lyrics, it all depends on how creative you make the intro that doesn't have lyrics in it. So my number 5, interestingly enough, the only anime on my list, it's an anime that I talked about before on our top 5 anime list, and it's Flint the Time Detective.
Yes, you have.
Now, am I correct in assuming that none of you have watched it since we talked about it?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, so this doesn't ruin the surprise. The surprise is, and like I said, you got to get creative with the intro if you don't have lyrics. And how they got creative is actually pretty interesting. Because the main protagonist is a caveman, the main lyrics, per se, of the intro is just a bunch of cavemen singing, Hom-daga! Hom-da, hom-da, him-da! Hom-da, hom-da, hom-da! Hom-daga, him-daga, hom-daga, him-daga! So yeah, it doesn't have lyrics, but, they got creative with it, and that's the main selling point for me. That's how I decided to put it on my list. And the number 4, they also got really creative with it. It's a show, I don't know if any of you guys have watched this. It's called Sheep in the Big City. Have any of you heard of it?
No.
Okay, so it's an animated show. Here's the basic gist, okay? There's a sheep. It gets tired of living on the farm, so it decides to move to the big city, and there it falls in love with a poodle, which it was my first exposure to interracial relationship in an animated show. And
it makes no sense with the title. Sheep moving to the big city, that makes no sense with the title.
Right? But so the poodle itself is actually owned by a rich, old, mean lady who hates sheep with a passion. Every time she sees a sheep, she takes off her wig, which is made out of steel for some reason, and smashes the sheep on the head before kicking it away. There's a bit of a forbidden love story thrown in there. The farmer sometimes likes to go back to and search for the sheep. And, one more twist, the military is after the sheep. Why? Because they have this big, powerful ray gun that can destroy anything, and its only power source is a sheep. And the only sheep that can actually fit into the battery chud thing is specifically that sheep. So yeah, the main general specific, and his sidekick, Private Public, and yes, they got very creative with the names there. They spend pretty much every episode looking for this sheep. And sometimes you get cameos from other military men like Major Payne, Major Television Event, all kinds of creative names.
Major Television Event?
Yeah, that's the name of one of the soldiers. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Trying to sell you on the show at this point. So yeah, one time Private Public's father makes an appearance, General Public, and and they have this scientist guy who always gets really, really crazy whenever people call him a mad scientist, because he's not a mad scientist. He is an angry scientist. He's an angry scientist. He gets very the fourth wall is basically not there.
Oh,
Like,
I like that.
I mean, they address the narrator makes appearances regularly. It was like Deadpool before Deadpool. Random characters show up, and people from the production say, "Hey guys, we spent a lot of money on those time machine over there. I suggest use them." And, you know, stuff like that. And every once in a while, the general goes like, "Great Scott!" And then a Scottish guy shows up. Yes. So, yeah, I think I've done enough to sell you on the show. Now for the song, which is the reason why I put it on the list.
Oh, we haven't even got to the theme song yet. Wow.
Yeah, I try to make this as quick as possible. Anyways, the theme song, like I said, it's about a sheep in the big city. So the entire theme song is just people going ba 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 because it's a sheep. You know, it's bleeding. Yeah. And obviously every episode, some other character is just reading the title at the end. Sheep in the big city, and every single episode is split into 3 segments. Every segment has some pun on the word sheep in it.
If you hadn't have said this was anime, I would have told you to stop smoking. Because if you listen to it, it sounds completely bonkers. But when you throw in that it's anime, I'm like, that tracks.
And,
I kind of want to see a live action version of this.
Right?
50, get to work.
Yeah.
yeah, hey, I'll do that. But here's the disappointing part is, first of all, you guys never heard of it, but I almost don't hear people who ever watched the show. The show really kind of disappeared. And with a premise like that, I mean, you would assume people would remember that. I mean, like I said, it was Deadpool before Deadpool was popular as it is right now. And it's no one
Maybe
can
they just wanted to erase the craziness from their head. They're like, nope.
and it's
It only lasted 2 years.
yeah, and even now it's hard to find episodes of the show, which, like I said, it's disappointing because it's definitely not for everybody, obviously. But if you have some time and you want to check out how this crazy premise works, I recommend give it a shot.
Yeah, definitely. That's a strange animation style. Huh. Okay, so what is your number 3 then? 50. You got 2 more to go.
Oh well, keeping with the theme of being creative with a theme song without lyrics, I really wish I could whistle because I can't. But I'll just do this. I think
See, I can whistle, but I can't change the pitch. So I can go.
I know that theme song.
shame on you. It's a Canadian show.
Ed, and Eddie. Brrr, yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's another one somehow.
See, I can do the brrr part.
That's one I don't know how, but it just completely slipped me by that one. Eddie.
The funny thing is, it's a Canadian show, but I don't believe it was ever broadcast in Canada in its original run.
We had it up here.
Huh. Okay, because I've been talking to some other people. They say
It's on my honorable mentions 50.
That shows you how good it is. I mean, the intro is just these 3 goofing off, which is basically the entire show. But I think the whistle is really, really iconic at this point, especially for people who grew up in this generation who remember the show and watch the show. And I believe at one point it was the longest running show on Cartoon Network and one of the more successul shows that channel has ever had. And that's why
Definitely childhood there.
It still is. Yeah, it's one that a lot of people hold in high regard.
Yeah. And it ended, I think, the best way that it could have ended. There was, like, a couple of years ago, there was this rumor about they're bringing back the show with some new animation, and they're completely changing the premise. Everyone's got smartphones now. Plank apparently it's a smartphone. It's no longer an actual plank. The people then and like, no, don't. And even the show's creator, Danny Antonucci, found the guy that even made some example animation for it. And he's like, oh, get a life.
I
Obviously,
mean, adding smartphones, it's fine, but you can't make Plank a smartphone. Plank has to be a piece of wood.
yeah, that's the whole point of Johnny's character. But yeah, I'm glad that never happened.
Have you guys ever heard of the purgatory theory about this show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How about you, Ben? Have you heard of the purgatory theory?
About any?
Yeah.
No.
So basically, the gist of the theory is this theory posits that the kids who inhabit the cul-de-sac are actually dead in reality, and that the lives they lead there actually take place in a purgatory-like setting, which would partially explain why all the characters are from a different time period.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we also explain why there almost aren't any adult figures. Now, of course, there are a few episodes that kind of poke holes in that theory, but it's a good theory. But it's all a matter of whether you choose to believe it or not.
Yeah, and then this is from the fandom wiki, so I'm just going to give a brief thing on it. So Rolf would have been the first to arrive from the 1900s. His family moved to Peach Creek in order to establish a farm on its land. Rolf died around 1903 when his family's farm animals stampeded and trampled him. This was a supposed reason as to why he only has one cow, one goat, a few pigs, and a few chicks. Not enough animals to cause a full stampede in the afterlife. Johnny 2x4 came not long after Rolf's death, and because he had no friends, he created Plank. In 1922, he died after a long battle of tuberculosis. He took his friend Plank with him in the afterlife, since he was the last thing that he saw in life before he died. That would also explain Plank's sentient behavior, which is most notably demonstrated in the movie. Eddie was next. Let's see. How would he? Oh, Eddie ends, after one of his scans went awry, Eddie was chased by the swindled children of the cul-de-sac and ran to the lake and jumped into it. He ends up drowning in that lake, and he soon joined the other children in the afterlife. Ed and Sarah were the next ones. Their dad died in World War II. Let's see. They both died in a freak auto accident in 1953. Naz was killed by a serial killer from a local mental hospital. Like, it gets dark.
Yeah.
You put a lot of thought into that theory.
Yeah, people have. When you read the full thing, you're just like,
yeah.
I first saw it on Tumblr, and I was like, wow, this made me completely look at the show in a different way now.
Things people on the internet.
Right.
Yeah, Jimmy was diagnosed with leukemia. The cankers are actually demons that were sent to the cul-de-sac to torment the kids. Like, there's a lot of shit in here.
What makes sense, though?
Okay, what is your...
Like I said, though, it doesn't explain Eddie's brother being there. But...
So what is your number 2 then? And then we will move on after that. 50, your number 2?
Oh, number 2. Sorry. I thought you were addressing so yeah, my number 2 is actually one of the shows that made it onto my top 5 shows with lyrics, because I used the song that was played at the end of the show, not the intro.
I know.
And yeah, loopholes, and that is BoJack Horseman.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
BoJack Horseman. Its simplicity is key with that show, and it's just a specific. It's just music being played, and all you see in the intro itself is you see BoJack waking up, doing his daily routine, going, brushing his teeth, going to work, partying, falling into a pool, being saved, and just ending up tanning on his big balcony. And obviously it changes every season depending on the setting. Sometimes when he's going to work, he's going to film a movie that he's in. Sometimes he's going, on a political campaign. Like, it shows you the mental instability of this horse. I wasn't going to say man, but it shows you the mental state of this guy, and it puts you in the mood. It's very atmospherical, and like I said, it's one of those intros that shows you exactly everything you need to know. Just like how Game of Thrones, like I said, I haven't watched the show, but I believe every season the intro also changes to show you the changes on the map. Yeah, it's the same thing. It changes to the show itself, show you where this character is at the moment. And this character, while he is the protagonist, he's a very, very despicable person. He's done a lot of terrible things that it all comes into a heading in the season finale. But every single season, you get to see some of the stuff take place even in the intro. And like I said, it's a very atmospheric music in the opening song.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so now, Soul, you're number 2.
Oh, my number 2 was Game of Thrones, so we all have the same Game
Yes,
of
that's
Thrones.
right. We all had the same number 2. Okay.
So, honorable mention time.
It really was perfect timing on 50 to join the show. What do you know? Okay, so honorable mentions, I have The Simpsons, Parks and Rec, The Office, and then Canada's unofficial second national anthem, Hockey Night in Canada.
You don't get more than that.
I tried every year of high school to convince my band director to play this whenever we had to play the national anthem, and I have not succeeded in 25 years.
That's hilarious. So my honorable mentions, I have MASH.
Oh yeah.
Ed, Ed and Eddie, Dexter's Laboratory, and then Ben reminded me of Rugrats, so
Nice.
I have Rugrats on there now.
Ben?
How about 50?
Oh yes. Yes, your honorable mentions 50.
I have 2 honorable mentions, one of which is another anime. Apparently, I just remembered I actually watched a bunch of anime as a kid. I was always like, I'm not really the anime type. I only watched a few. And then I was thinking after our top 5 anime stuff, I was like, wait a minute, I watched that. That's an anime. And I watched that. Oh. So yeah, apparently I watched more anime than I thought. And this one, I'm curious to see if Saul watched it. It's called Shinzo.
No.
Okay, so it's basically the world is inhabited by these mutants. Humans are basically an extinct species, and there's one human there. She meets a bunch of these Enterans, as they're called, and they're trying to get to a place called Entera, which is the only safe haven for humans. And apparently the entire land is called Shinzo, but for some reason the people who made the theme song didn't quite get the memo. They're not going... because they're going to Entera. The people who made at least in the Hebrew version, they didn't understand the fact that they were actually going to Entera, not to Shinzo, because they're already in Shinzo. So yeah, the entire theme song is in this. Like I said, the Hebrew version is just whoa, 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 we're going to Shinzo. Whoa, 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 we're going to Shinzo. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire thing. And obviously, because I had to do it. But I couldn't because I realized it does have lyrics in a different language. The Lion Guard actually has lyrics in Swahili. And just like the other shows I've mentioned, the theme song the intro changes every season to fit the setting and show you exactly where the characters are in that point. But like I said, it was going to be on my list, but then I listened to it again. It does have lyrics in Swahili, so I decided not to keep it. Which is different from having lyrics in Caveman, but you know.
Okay, Ben, what are your honorable mentions?
Okay, my honorable mentions. I have 4. Doug, Lost, Real Monsters, and until a second ago, it was Breaking Bad was my number 1. And then I remembered something I read. So silly I forgot about.
Oh, so you're saying Breaking Bad's now on your honorable mentions?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Didn't see that coming.
Me neither.
Before we go on to our number 1s, do you know what the name of the theme song for MASH is? Suicide is Painless.
Huh.
Yeah, because
I've watched a lot of MASH because I used to work for a company called Homestead Senior Care, so I took a lot of took care of a lot of elderly people. So I watched a lot of like older shows in that sense. So I seen a lot of MASH.
Yeah, well, the theme song actually is a carryover from the movie because it is also the theme song for the movie. But in the movie, there's actually lyrics attached to it, and it won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. Funny enough,
I did not know that.
Yeah, and the lyrics are written in 5 minutes by the director's 14-year-old son.
Nice.
Genius. Okay, so now it's time for the number 1s. I'm surprised this hasn't appeared yet. Batman the Animated Series.
You're right. It probably
Yeah.
should have been on our list.
What I love about this is the composer for the animated series took musical cues from arguably one of the greatest superhero theme songs of all time, Danny Elfman's Batman, and created the theme song for the show with this. And it is so awesome. It encapsulates everything that makes those movies great, and it also encapsulates what makes the show great. It's another one you hear, you know it's Batman, but again, it's like, is that the show or is it the movie? Because they sound so much alike. But either way, great theme song, the gothic feel to it, the heaviness to it. Such an amazing job on that theme song. You guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I was going between Batman and X-Men, and I went with X-Men. So, which I was surprised no one else had X-Men on there. So you went the other route.
There we go. Yeah.
My thing is, even if it doesn't immediately jump into your mind when you think of the topic, then it probably doesn't deserve to be on your personal list.
Of
That's
course.
why that I are on my list are the ones that I immediately thought of.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how my list came down. It's like these were the first 5 that popped in my head.
Okay, can I be honest here?
You've never seen Batman the Animated Series.
Oh no!
He doesn't like it, I'm assuming.
Oh no!
How you feel about X-Men the animated series and how I feel about Batman. I never watched it growing up, and I've seen a few episodes recently, and I'm like, yeah, it's good. I don't get the hype about it, but that's just me.
That's fair.
Yeah, like I said, that's exactly how I feel about the X-Men, so it's totally understandable.
You can see more of this on Ben's Hot Takes every week.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, 50. You're number 1. I told you a bit of Hunt. That was my number 3, was Doctor Who.
My opinion, it's the best TV show in television history. There's a reason it lasted for 55 years. 57, I think. And the main theme song was my original hook, because at first I wasn't quite on board with the show. I mean, a guy that travels through time in a phone booth. I mean, seriously, but I listened to the music and I was like, okay, maybe I should go back and watch it. And I just fell in love with it. It is my all-time favorite show. I watched every single episode, all 39 seasons twice, including the spin-offs and the movie. And it's just, like I said,
you've seen all the old stuff available. I applaud you for that, because that stuff can get boring.
That's just your opinion, man. William Hartnell is my 3rd favorite Doctor,
Really?
and John Bradley is my 5th or 4th, depending on the mood. But I especially love the black and white stuff, especially seeing how they were able to get around certain technical stuff where they didn't have the same visual effects of today. Seeing the show in its early days and what the show was when it started and how it became, it was great. And that's one of the main reasons I love the first 2 episodes of WandaVision more than anybody else. But
I love those first 2 episodes.
Yeah, me too.
More than most. More than.
I think it's because of the black and white thing. I hear you. 850. Have you ever seen the movie An Adventure in Space and Time?
Yes, and it is awesome, and I encourage every Whovian to sit down and watch it. But going back to the main theme here, Ron Grainer's theme, all the different changes that were made to it by Peter, can't remember the name, who did
Gold.
What?
It's the Doctor Who theme song. It's what's his name? His last name's Murray Gold.
Murray Gold did the newer ones.
Yeah. I can't remember.
To Capaldi, but it was Peter something who made the ones in the 80s. That was a big change in the main theme song. But I love the fact that they kept the skeleton of the theme song the same, and every single Doctor has its own version of the theme. And it's a video game that I reference often when I'm on the show. Lego Dimensions Doctor Who is a playable character in it, and you can change into every single Doctor, and every single Doctor they put the theme of that Doctor into the game.
Oh,
Again,
cool.
one of the reasons why I think it's the best game of all time. And yeah, the music is just, it gets me every time. Murray Gold is a musical genius
Yeah.
in this industry. And yeah, the theme song, it brings tears to my eyes, especially when it gets to that happy part where it's like, yeah, I can listen to that theme song all day, every day, and for a period of time, I actually did. But that's a story for a different time.
Yeah. I told you guys it would have been a punt.
I have a question for you, 50.
Let's go away.
Who's your favorite Doctor?
I think you've asked this several times before, but my answer is always the same. It's Tennant. Let's not confuse it with that bad movie. Tennant, Smith, like I said, Hartnell, and then the number 4 and 5. It's pretty interchangeable. Sometimes, let's say the number 4 is definitely Pertwee, and number 5 sort of changes with the mood. Sometimes it's Eggleston, sometimes it's Aldi, and sometimes it's Whitaker, which I think she's a much better doctor than
Yeah, flip your top 2 and you have my top 2 doctors. Like, but it's like 1 and 1A sort of thing. Like, yeah,
absolutely. And I was one of those people who hated the idea of Matt Smith coming into the role in the first place, but he completely changed my mind after one episode.
Yeah, see, he was my gateway into it. That's the very first episode. The very first episode that I saw was one of his Christmas specials, and that's what got me hooked. It's the one, the Doctor, the Witch in the Wardrobe, or whatever it's called.
Oh,
yeah, nice. That was the first episode I'd ever seen.
I think the other Christmas special with. They basically did a Christmas Carol. No, it's called the Christmas Carol. I think.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I think it's one of the best episodes the show has ever done.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree. Now you've made me want to go back and rewatch this. It's been a long time since I've rewatched Matt Smith stuff. And I know a lot of people give Jim Corden shit, but he is great in the couple episodes he appeared in the Matt Smith era. I'm just going to leave that right here.
Who did he play?
He just plays this regular schmuck that the Doctor moves in with. It's actually pretty good. Okay, so Soul, you're number 1.
So my number 1 is an anime. It's probably the anime that non-anime people watch, or the anime that gets suggested to people who are like, oh, what anime should I watch? This one's the first one that gets suggested because I guess it's just universally loved, and that's Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. The song is called Tank. It's composed by Yoko Kanno, and it is super jazzy and fun, and it's super fun. You got the trumpets, you got the saxophone, you got just the score of it is jazzy and fun and really goes with the show. It's a super cool intro, and I highly recommend listening to the song and watching the anime because it's super cool.
Right on.
I have a question, so is this, because I missed most of the show, is this the one you said was going where people would have been confused? It's not on your top 5 anime list because it doesn't have lyrics?
Yes. Because at the beginning, there's spoken word at the very beginning is like 1, 2, 3, let's go, like kind of thing. But I don't really count that as like lyrics. That's just like a spoken thing at the very beginning. Yeah.
I have sheep in one of mine. So.
Nice. All right, Ben. Moment of truth. Time to wrap it up.
I can't believe I forgot about this. I love this show. The Office.
Yes, nice.
It's awesome. I mean, it's basically summarizes the whole, it gives you the whole tone of the show without any lyrics. It's a wonderful thing, catchy as hell. Mm-hmm. And I think I read somewhere that before the show we picked up after, John Consistency went to Pennsylvania and did some filming of sightseeing, and that's what we see in the opening. In the show's opening.
That's cool.
Oh, it is a catchy, fun song to describe catchy, funny, addicting like heck show.
You change your background, it's no longer Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You don't really have to. I'm just making a joke here.
No, but now that you said it, you made him want to do it.
Yep.
I don't have it. Oh well.
You can go with the Smallville one. I like that.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Okay, who's favorite Office character?
Ooh. Main character Michael. Side character has to be Creed.
Okay.
Has to be Creed.
Creed's my
Dwight
favorite. of all
cracks
time.
me up. Dwight cracks
Dwight,
me up
Oh yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
And it's not because I was like, I would hate to work with someone like Dwight, but
Like in the robes.
and I love too, like in the basketball episode when they're playing with like the people down. He has like an anime shirt on. And it's so of a show I'd never seen.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's hilarious. That's so Dwight. That's so Dwight.
Yeah, I'd actually have to agree with you, Ben. Like Creed is actually my favorite of all the characters, but the main character, yeah, it's definitely Michael. Not first season Michael. Not first season Michael.
And one of I just thought of a good. I just thought of a topic for next week.
Okay.
But I'm not going to. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it because I'm going to save it for next week.
Hey, 50. Have you seen The Office?
There's a reason why I was staying quiet this entire time.
So it's the same reason I was staying quiet during Doctor Who. Got it.
Yeah, it's one of those shows I don't want to just watch an episode here, an episode there. I want to find some time and just binge it all. Unfortunately, I think they removed it from Netflix recently, so I'm gonna have to find some.
This is a show I actually came to really late. I watched it for the first time last year. This time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I fell in love with it right there. There's reason it's in my top 5 all-time sitcoms. It's so good. And yeah, you're right about the theme song. It's a good, great show. Great show. Okay, then. So, Ben, you just teased it. What is the topic for next week?
Top 5 TV episodes.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, okay. Okay, challenge accepted.
I probably won't be here next week because there's not enough time for me to think about that. So see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Oh, come on. It won't be that hard.
It's a great topic.
It's a great topic. That's super hard. And yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You okay there, 50?
Can we pick? To make it fair, can we pick just one episode from one show?
You can do whatever you want, I guess.
No restrictions. You make it easier on everybody. No restrictions.
All Pokemon and Lion Guard episodes from 50.
Fuck, that's gonna be tough. Okay, it can be done. It can be done. It can be done.
Can be done. But Ben, you're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah. All right. So it's gonna be a lot of thinking this week.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so
You know what? I gotta keep us on toast somehow.
you fucking did. We had it very hard for me last week. To this week was really easy. To next week's like, oh, okay.
It just comes and goes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's do this. So, Ben, where can everybody find you when you're not figuring out what your top 5 TV episodes are?
You can find me at my Twitter at Ben_Rainer. You can find me everywhere on Shooting the Breeze on Thursday, Recapping on Friday, this on Saturday, Ben's Hot Takes on Sunday, and Matt Schmodown normally on Saturdays. I won't be on, but Matt's going to fill in for me. And this week we're covering Sam Levine.
Yeah, it was great going back and watching some of Sam's old matches because things happened that I had forgotten they'd happened when he was involved. So I can't wait to talk about those moments. Sol, what about you? Where can everybody find you?
You can find me later tonight at 3 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. Eastern for the Ultimate Showdown After Show. We will have Marisol, Adam Witt, and Peggy Gubbins on as guests this week, so go check that out.
Alrighty, and the late 50 Shades of Geek. Where can
I'm
everybody
not dead yet. Well, when I'm not falling asleep on my couch, you can find me on my YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. You can also find me later tonight on Twitch, 50 Shades of Geek without the F. You can also I will be streaming some Pokemon Snap. That will be later added to my gaming channel. It's a gaming lesson show. Something not to mention last week, you can also find me on Patreon. I'm designing a Pokemon fan game based on Israel. It's called. Let's go to patreon.com/Pokemon Star Cross and Crescent. And you can also find my most recent fan league match over on Multiplex Entertainment. I did a fatal 5-way play-in to a tournament that will be coming out soon. We'll go ahead and watch me and see if I won it all or did I blow everything on a stupid Lion King question.
Uh-oh.
Did Freddie get a Lion King question wrong? This reminds me we have one of our patrons, his name in the John Roca Patreon, his name is Ryko. He's a Canadian and he missed the Canada question and we have not let him live it down since. Where does in Man of Steel, where does the ship first land? What country?
It's in Canada. It's in the Northwest Territories. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. He said Finland.
Oof. Way off. Really got to get in there and challenge that man to a match for the rights of Canada.
Yes. You know, I'm writing it down now, so you're doing it. So
you got it. I'll be there. Be there with bells and whistles on.
I think I'm just going to try to find all questions about all Canadian actors and or movies and just try to... Okay. It's going to be called the Rights of Canada match. So join that Patreon if you want to see that.
Yeah.
Hey, Soda, where does Wolverine go in X2 X-Men United at the beginning to find...
He goes to Alkali Lake in, I think it's BC.
And your winner?
Yeah, well, I can tell you that Logan is born in Alberta, so I know that.
There you go.
Okay, and as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can also find me on this channel doing all the different shows there, Shooting the Breeze, Recapping the Past, Get Sweaty. You can also find me over on my other channel, Schmoes of the North, which does house Mount Schmodown, also breaking down the weekly goings-on and what's going on in the Schmodown, and then there's also Canadian Comic Book Corner. We've actually got a new show debuting tonight. It's a Star Wars show, but it's a what-if Star Wars show. Basically, from what I understand, it's going to be similar to Bat in the Sun, where you're going to take two characters from Star Wars. You're going to list like all their powers, traits, and all that stuff, and then they're going to determine who wins. The show is called Let's Talk About Star Wars, but it's Taco About Star Wars, because the host is nicknamed Taco.
That reminds me, when I was driving in an area of Miami that I'm not very familiar with the other day, I went by and there was a restaurant called Tacos and Tattoos. So I guess I'm like, I wonder what the health and safety is for that place. Go get yourself a taco and then go get yourself a tattoo.
No, the cross-contamination is insane.
There's a comic book shop in Tel Aviv. It's called Comics and Other Vegetables.
I think we have a winner.
Yep, we do.
You know, it's just comics and vegetables. That's what
fucking
it is.
hilarious. That's too funny. And on that note, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We will see you next week on Get Sweaty with our top 5 favorite TV episodes of all time. Don't forget, everyone, stay sweaty and smash cancer.